India is facing the worst water crisis in its history. On one hand, NITI Aayog has announced that 21 Indian cities will be losing all of their groundwater by the year 2020. 33 crore Indians will be facing severe drought. On the other hand, floods in Assam and other parts of the country have affected crores of people, having claimed hundreds of lives already. Whether it's flood or drought, the one thing that is simply obvious is that the government is not ready to tackle either scenario. So in this episode or so basically, let's look into the different reasons why India has such a bad water management issue. Now what you may not know is that technically there is no shortage of water in India. India is a water surplus country. We have 4% of the world's freshwater resources while only having 2.5% land. There is more than enough water for every Indian. As such, to solve this water crisis, we need to look into two aspects. So rethinking agricultural policies and better property rights over water resources. Let's start with agriculture. When it comes to water shortage, the biggest culprit is the government's agricultural policies. You may not believe it, but many measures that were announced to help the farmers have resulted in big problems for everyone, including the farmers. And why does it matter? Because 85 to 90% of India's water is used in agriculture. Domestic and industrial use of water is merely between 5 to 7% each. Take for example, free electricity to farmers. All well and good, right? Not exactly. Because of free and cheap electricity, well-off farmers, the ones who can afford tube wells, extract excessive amounts of groundwater. Sometimes they fill up tankers and sell this water to cities. Why not? Electricity is free, right? But eventually, this over-extraction of groundwater will hurt the farmer since the borewells will dry up, leaving them unable to farm. Then there are the minimum support prices. These are prices at which the government is willing to buy crops from the farmers, the most popular being wheat and rice. Let's take rice for example. It takes about 3000 liters of water to grow 1 kilogram of rice. That opposed to, let's say, soya bean, which takes only about 500 liters per kilogram. So what makes farmers grow rice instead of soya bean even in drier regions? You guessed it right, the guarantee of sale to the government. Now let's look into the second issue, property rights over water resources. Now a lot has been said and done about the right to water, but very little about water rights. A commonly owned water resource without well-defined rights of usage encourage misuse. It is important to remember that the right to water is not the right to waste water. By allocating water resources to communities or individual users, we can ensure that water is not wasted.
अगर सरकार की स्कीम होगी तो असफल होगी, अगर ये जनता की स्कीम होगी तो सफल होगी।
तो ये हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फीडबैक था कि जब तक ये गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम रहेगी तब तक ये कामयाब नहीं होगी, जब तक ये इसको हमें लोगों की मूवमेंट बनाना पड़ेगा। इट हैज टू बिकम अ पीपल्स मूवमेंट, तभी ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगा।
By empowering local water user associations and village water supply committees to manage the use, delivery and conservation of water resources, we can ensure that the pricing and distribution of water is done in accordance to the local needs and challenges. This is not new since many countries have already transferred responsibilities and rights to local communities. The story of Rajendra Singh, Waterman of India, is a great example of localized water management. Here was a man who worked in rural Rajasthan, saw the water woes of the region and helped the village take charge of water resources. Today, his efforts have brought water to over 1,000 villages and revived 5 rivers. So basically, to resolve the water crisis in India, we need to rethink agricultural policies that lead to wastage of water and incentivize the farmers to use water more judiciously. More importantly, we need to stop treating water as a common commodity that all of us can exploit and shift the ownership of water resources from the government to those communities that are using it directly. For more details, visit spontaneousorder.in and as always, like, share and subscribe.